Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Latina News. My name is Anto Chávez and I'm one of Be Latina's writers. Today we're going to talk to Maureen Porras, who is a Democrat running for the Florida House of Representatives. So again, we'll get all the political answers that you may need, or your friends or your family, so you can send it to them. Let's get to it. Let's see if Maureen is on. I'm not sure why she's unable to join. Some technical difficulties which are reflective of this weird virtual times. But we will solve this problem. Okay, I think she will be on very soon. I'm not sure what. Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm doing great. I'm sorry for that delay. I always say this, I'm a bad millennial, so this is really, a bit tricky for me.
No,
But
it's all good.
Here.
Yeah, it's all good. It happens. It's very reflective of this weird virtual times. How's everything? Where are you in the world right now?
I am here in Miami, in my home office. Just campaigning. The days really just don't end at 5. They go on, it seems like, all day, and all for something that's worth it. And I'm just happy to really have this opportunity and the opportunity to hopefully represent our district and all Floridians in Tallahassee. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, of course. We love to have you here. So first, let's start with a quick introduction. So if you can tell everyone who you are and what you do, and everything about you, we'll love to hear that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for having me here again. Be Latina News. You guys are an amazing media, and I know that you elevate and lift a lot of women, a lot of Latinas, a lot of civil and civic issues. So I'm happy to be here. I am Maureen Porras. I am the Democratic candidate for House District 105. Here in South Florida, and the district covers 3 counties. It stretches from Broward County through Miami-Dade, and it extends west to Collier County. And I'm actually an immigration attorney. I have been providing immigration legal services to our most vulnerable for over 12 years now. Actually, in September was 12 years. And and the last 6 years, yes, and it's been very wonderful, rewarding work. The last 6 years, I have been providing immigration services as an attorney, and I have also been working in the nonprofit field for the last 4 years. I currently manage the legal departments of a global nonprofit, and that's what I've dedicated my entire career to doing, to defending and making sure that those without a voice have one.
Right. And so can you tell us a little bit more about your immigration background? So you're an attorney, and what kind of cases would you get, and what was it that you were trying to, what was your, what were you pursuing at that point in your life? What was, the goal for you at the time?
Right. So I'm an immigrant myself. I was actually born in Nicaragua. And I came to the U.S. when I was 7 years old. And honestly, my own immigration experience and really the culture and diversity that we found here in South Florida really led me to pursue a career in immigration, in politics, and in law. I knew at an early age that I wanted to really give back to my community, help others that were in similar situations, that were facing similar situations like my family did. My family are actually like exiles from Nicaragua. We fled the Sandinistas. And so I knew that I wanted to do something where I could defend others and help them get protection. So I first got my first immigration experience interning for a congressional representative. And, we did several projects. We did a huge citizenship drive. And that really just pushed me even further into politics and also immigration. And that was my first year in college. And then,
Okay.
and then I pursued a bachelor's degree in political science. And during that time, I also started working with an immigration law firm. And I was with them for about 3.5 years before actually going to law school. And then in law school, of course, I got involved with our immigration clinic and our immigration law society. And then, after law school, I came back to Miami, practiced in private practice for about a year, and then moved on to the organization where I'm at right now. And, the last 4 years have been extremely challenging, and we have seen a number of cases. I have seen, too many family separations. I've seen a lot of due process violations. And I knew we had to do something. I think that this really amazing volunteer, Jen, put it really well. I essentially turned, the last 4 years of frustration into a campaign. And that's what really drove me to run for the seat. But again, in my career in the immigration world as an immigration attorney and in the nonprofit world, I have seen a lot of need for representation, for defense. I have, defended individuals in front of the immigration court, in front of ICE, in front of USCIS, and we've seen a lot of good work. We've seen a lot of hard times, and it's the hard times that really just led me to run for office.
Yeah, I think that's put very beautifully. That's usually one of the questions that I ask guests who are part of a campaign. Because one thing is having your normal quote unquote job like an immigration attorney, for example, but running a campaign is such a arduous work, like it's a lot, and so I'm always wondering what is it that led people to get to that point. So that's really beautifully put right there. And I would love to know, definitely I would assume immigration is one of those, but what other issues are top priority for you and the things that your campaign addresses right now?
Yes, so I would love to focus on making sure that we have a strong and well-funded public education system. I think that having a strong public schools really give us opportunities and gives everyone an opportunity to excel. And it's really the great equalizer education is. And so I want to make sure that our public schools are well funded and that we stop diverting our public funds into for-profit corporations, because our teachers need that funding, our schools need it, our students need it, our neighborhoods, our communities need that funding, and that's where the funding should stay. It shouldn't be going into for-profit corporations that are not giving students in our community a chance at these opportunities. I'm also a big proponent of making sure that we are protecting our environment. I want to make sure that we are protecting our environment. Something that's a really big issue here in this district, in District 105, is water quality issues. And I want to make sure that we address them. We do have some budget problems, and we also have some policy problems. And I would love to make sure that we're addressing that. Also, throughout my work as an immigration attorney, I have seen a lot of people go through the criminal justice system. And I've seen how unfair it is, how it disproportionately affects certain groups. And I would love to see some criminal justice reform be done at the state level. It can be done, it has been done, and I think it needs a little bit more attention. And then, of course, a lot of our priorities have shifted to making sure that we have a proper and effective COVID pandemic response, because we have not had that here in Florida. Unfortunately, we haven't had the competence in making sure that our communities and our residents are safe. And so I want to make sure that we address this in Tallahassee. And I want to make sure that when we go up there, we are looking at really fixing our unemployment system and making sure that we increase that weekly unemployment benefit, because no one can survive with $275 a week. And, Florida had the worst unemployment system. It has one of the lowest unemployment benefits, and we need to take care of our community. I also want to make sure that we are expanding health services. Something so crucial during a public health crisis is health and health insurance and healthcare services. So I want to make sure that we are going up there to expand Medicaid, to make sure that we are making all these healthcare programs accessible to people, and that we are taking the proper measures and safety measures that we need to take. And lastly, I want to make sure that we are also focusing on our small businesses that have been hit so hard by this pandemic. I want to make sure that the ones that have stayed open continue to stay open, that they get the resources and the help that they need. And, I think that residents and everyone in Florida, they want the leadership that can really address the issues that are going to put the community first and not special interest. And our message has really resonated with a lot of residents. And we want to make sure that we send leaders that will represent us, that will give everyone a voice and not just special interest.
Of course, yeah. And that's one of people's main concern, that public servants actually listen to the community. And so my next question, I think it's going to be a very easy answer for you as an immigration attorney. But how are you going to make sure once in office that you are uplifting the community's voice as opposed to being the voice yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And, I have been campaigning for almost an entire year across the district, and I have heard issues. I have made sure to understand what those issues are, to see what the needs are, and that's what I'm going to take to Tallahassee. And that's what I have as an attorney. As an attorney, I have to see what the needs of the community are. And I have to make sure that we're meeting those needs. And as a director of a nonprofit, I also have to make sure that I understand the issue, that I understand what the needs are, and that we address them. And District 105 and all of Floridians will have a representative that will do that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I also think, most people understand the importance of the presidential election right now, but not everyone, or at least it's less likely for someone to understand local and state elections importance. So if you can talk a little bit about that, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so, your elected officials, our elected officials are the ones closest to the problems that we have every day. And they're the ones making the decisions that affect our everyday lives, from traffic to schools to even, who you get to marry. And so these are issues that are extremely important. I think all politics start at the local level. It's important that we have local elected officials that will help us, that will improve. And, as far as the presidential, we can really make an impact. I think I froze. Am I still there?
I can hear you, but I think the camera froze for a second. Now it's fine. Actually, now I can. Okay, now I can hear you.
I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
Perfect. All good.
So our elected officials here at the local level, state level, they're making all the decisions that are affecting our everyday lives. And we're going to make sure that we are also, cementing issues that can help at the for everyone to know who local elected, who their candidates are, and really understand the impact they have on their everyday lives.
Yeah. And so at any level, I think across the board, it's essential for people to vote and also volunteer. It's not mutually exclusive to do those things. And can you tell us what's at stake and why specifically the Latinx, Latino, and Latina vote is so important right now?
Yes, we make up a huge voting bloc. Latinas, we make up a very big voting bloc. We have a voice. Unfortunately, and we can change elections. We can make a difference. And my district actually is very diverse in the Latino community. It's made up of individuals from different nationalities: Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, Colombians, Cubans, and historically there have been some nationalities and Latino groups that have not participated as in elections and in their civic duties as others. And I think that we can really change the landscape. We can really choose where the direction of where this country goes. And so we have to use our voice. I think encouraging Latinos to use that voice, to use the power of the vote, will really impact and change our political landscape. And I hope that everyone will exercise their right to vote, and that everyone will participate, and not just by voting, but also, making sure that your preferred candidate gets elected, volunteering, spreading the word, getting your neighbors to get registered to vote, getting your neighbors to come out and support and also volunteer. I think that's the best thing that we can do for our community. And I know that when we do this together, we will succeed.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue to my last question, which is, how can people volunteer with you? How can they get engaged?
Yeah, so, volunteers are really the force behind every campaign. And I would love, and I would invite everyone to participate. There's so many volunteer opportunities. We have door knocking, literature dropping, phone banking, and everyone can just go to my website at www.maureenporras.vote. That's VOTE. And just hit that volunteer link and we will contact you. We would love to have you, and we would love to have you be part of this historic campaign and make a difference in your community. It feels really great. It's rewarding, and you'd be making a difference.
Perfect. So I'll be dropping that link in the description of this video. If anyone has any questions, you can also ask away in our comments. And please send this to your friends and family who may not be sure who they're voting for, or if they're voting at all, so they can get some of those answers from Maureen. Thank you so much for joining us today, Maureen. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's happening next with your career. I know it's gonna be amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.